Hey guys, Off-Grid 406, Kerry Martin here. You guys like my video? Please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. I'll have a lot more videos like these on their way coming at you. So anyways, food storage. What kind of foods to store and how do we store them? How do we put them away long term? What if you've never done it before? Some of you guys are veterans, some are out there. Some of you guys could teach me a thing or two. People have really refined the art of storing food over time. Now I'll tell you how some of the foods that I've stored and why I store them and how I store them. So, you know, right off the top here, we got beans. Beans, I think, are the all-time best storage food for the money. A lot of calories for you know, for not that much money. I think you can get a 20-pound bag here for $19.83. Second of all, you got rice. Rice stores fantastically. You can you know, the white rice probably going to store a lot longer than your brown rice. Your brown rices are a little bit more nutritious. You know, you got the fiber, you got the whole you know, the whole deal there. You got the flours. Flours are good. You have to be way more careful when storing these. When it comes to flour, you have to either vacuum them, put them in a Mylar bag with an oxygen absorber inside of a bucket, preferably. And that way the rodents don't get it. You get the oxygen. The oxygen is the enemy to your food. You get that oxygen out of there. And not only that, but it's best to actually freeze your flour once you've packaged it up to kill all, you know, like larvae, weevils, that type of stuff. You can put your food directly in 5-gallon buckets. Make sure it's FDA compliant. Food where it's, you know, food safe. BPA free, so to speak. So and you know, so you can put your beans and your rice directly in a bucket like this. We've done that on several occasions. We've had them in there for 3-4 years. We put oxygen absorbers in there, put the lid on it, an airtight lid with the rubber seal, and you snap that in place. The bucket will suck in a little bit, you know, but I mean, we've opened those buckets up since 3 or 4 years later, and the food apparently seems to taste just fine. I don't notice any difference in it. So a lot of different dry goods here. You got nuts, you got raisins, you got grains, you got, you know, pastas is one of the things that somebody might think that's, you know, that's pretty good to store, and it is. It stores well. It's not the biggest bang for your buck, mainly because pasta's got a lot of air in it. It's bulky. You know, it's not the heavy foods that. But still, it's considered one of the better foods as far as I'm concerned to store. We got these freeze-dried buckets. That's not my first choice. Valley Food Storage. If you got the money, these are like 159 bucks. If you got the money, go for it. You know, what's the harm in that? You need fresh fruits and veggies, and these are freeze-dried. So let me see here. So we got chicken feed, shelled corn, things like that. It was suggested once that you know, you can take the shelled corns and you can store those, and those are good food sources. And I would have to agree. I mean, you even have the organic options here. At least some of these, yeah, organic. Whole grain chicken feed. You know, I bet you can buy a 50-pound bag of that stuff for under 20 bucks. You know, I think I've seen it on sale for $8-9 bucks. You know, and so it's not a bad way to go. You know. So vacuum bagging, I bought a vacuum bagger. I can't remember which brand it is, but I think a lot of different ones that, you know, they all work pretty good. You can put your food in there, you can seal it up. Here's these Mylar bags. You got these oxygen absorbers. Now this is just mylarbagsdirect.com, and they've got pretty much everything you need right here. The bags are, let me see, you can get 20-pack for $7. And on and on and on. And the oxygen absorbers, you can get 100 of them for, oh, okay, I see. So these are 1-quart Mylar bags. And so you get 100 8x12 quart bags plus O2 absorbers. So for 35 bucks, that sounds like a pretty good deal. I might even grab me some of these. And so, you know, you put your food in there, put your oxygen absorber, and you seal the bag, and then the oxygen absorber basically will vacuum seal. It'll suck out the oxygen, and what you wind up with is something with no oxygen. Oxygen is the enemy. And the Mylar bag will not let sunlight in, but you know, it will allow rodents to get into it. So then you need to protect it inside like a 5-gallon bucket or like a big tote or something that mice can't actually get into. If you got a mouse-proof room that you can guarantee is going to be safe from those little critters, I guarantee you those little guys will get anywhere. Wheat berries. This is the preferred method of storing your wheat. You know, you can grind this up. You can make bread flours and stuff like that out of it. If you grind it coarse, it makes a great cereal. Like I don't know how many of you guys have eaten Zoom, but we actually grew wheat on the farm, and we stored several tons of it. And we would take it and we would just grind it up very coarsely, and make a fantastic breakfast cereal. I mean, it was just like the Zoom that you buy in the store. I don't know if you guys in the rest of the Western world know what I'm talking about, but just a coarse ground. You can eat these whole. The Mexicans, you know, in California, they used to take the wheat berries, and they always just cook them up whole, and they were great. Canned meats, not my favorite thing to store, but I mean, nonetheless, if that's your thing, I think you can get more energy dense food out of dry goods, because remember, you're adding water to the dry goods. This has already got the water in it. And you know, of course, there's some danger when it comes to meat. The last thing you want to do is get sick in a survival situation, and I feel like that could easily happen. Now, a lot of people store their own food. This has to be done very, very carefully. You know, I've canned some fish before, and you know, there's lots of warnings in every single recipe that you read on canning meats, and so you got to adhere to those very carefully. One of the drawbacks of canned foods is durability. You know, if you have buckets full of dry goods and you just have to get out of town real fast, you can throw those buckets just very hurriedly into the back of a truck. Whereas jars of meats, let's say, that's a little tougher. Now I do jar up my tomatoes, sauces, my tomato juices, some of my vegetables and things like that. But those are not my primary go-to foods. You know, if you've been prepping for a while, then you can use your discretion as to what's best for you and your family. But that's just a few of the things that I have. And hey, just one last word, guys. If you think you're going to be like this big hunter-gatherer, and you're not going to do any preparatory work in the beginning, I would strongly suggest that you give the whole hunting and gathering thing a good, honest try. Just go out in the woods with bare minimum and see just how that works out for you. It usually doesn't work out too good. When I was a kid, you know, I read a lot of survival books, and I was into all that stuff, and so I went out into the woods and I was going to rough it, and wound up almost starving to death. I went about 4 days without food before I gave up. And if that was a survival situation, and I was prepared. I had my rifle, I had my knife, I had all the stuff that, you know, you need to procure wild game, you know, and I had my book on wild plants and everything else. And you know, the reality of it was there just is not a whole lot out there. You know, and you damn near have to be starving to eat some of these plants out there. They're just so woody, and so they're not what we're used to eating. And so if you've never been hungry before, just give it a shot. Go 3 or 4 days without eating. You'll know that food is very important right away, and that putting it away is very important. And it's the best way to guarantee that you're going to have food in hard times. And hard times, you know, are very likely to come upon us here. You know, I don't need to sit here and preach on what we might or might not be facing in the future. I mean, anybody with, you know, that's watching this video with any interest at all in prepping food, you know, they're looking at, and they're concerned about what's going on, and that's why they're watching videos like mine right now. But hey, there's more to come, folks. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. We're going to have more for you soon. Thanks for watching. Off Grid 406. My name is Kerry. We'll see you on the next one.